page with live weather coverage of the mainly large hail with the potential for a couple tornadoes today in central Oklahoma. Just making sure my audio is working. Sounds good to me. We're going to dig right into it here with our radar, courtesy of Radar Omega. They're providing our radar tonight. As you can see on your screen, storms are beginning to fire here in central Oklahoma. We know that there is a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect that goes through this evening. The potential for a couple tornadoes should not be ruled out either. However, I believe the more prolific conditional tornado threat exists more in southern Oklahoma and North Texas at that dry line play. We talk about dry lines having some fun with tornadic supercells. That's kind of where I would think most about seeing a tornado before sunset anyway. Not saying there couldn't be some hidden tornadoes in these grungy storms, but we want to talk about it, make sure we're following it. Currently up in front of your screen, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. This is for some large hail as well as damaging winds. This includes Kingfisher, you're kind of out of it now. Now approaching the Crescent, Cedar Valley, Oklahoma regions, and a more popular Guthrie. This is all in central Oklahoma. In comparison, to give you an idea where it is, right here's the Oklahoma City Metro. So it's just north of the OKC Metro. We're going to zoom in a little bit here. We do have some people already uploading photos on Twitter in regards to the activity that's happening already in that area. Jeff Petrowski, an Emmy Award-winning storm chaser, he's got some footage for us. Let me turn my screen back on and see if maybe that fixes the problem. Page with live weather coverage of the mainly. I can hear myself there. With the potential for a couple of mega there this evening, southern Oklahoma in these grunt. Let me know if you can hear me now. Okay, so that's why I closed my screen. You probably hear me now. My fault, guys. Anyways, we're going to continue with this. So currently, if you're just now tuning in, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning out that includes Cedar Valley, Oklahoma, Crescent, Oklahoma, all that area, Marshall, Oklahoma, all in central Oklahoma. We're kind of watching a couple reports from storm chasers of a wall cloud on this storm back here. We want to make sure that's not going to start producing tornadoes. You got a little bit of a couple happening back here northeast of Dover. Maybe some activity happening down here, but nothing tight enough that I would be concerned that there's a tornado producing as of yet. If you're wondering where in Oklahoma this is due north of the Oklahoma City Metro. Right here's OKC. Here's Tulsa, so it's west of Tulsa, and here is Stillwater, Oklahoma. So all those areas, we're kind of keeping an eye out. Let's head back to Twitter real quick. I'm going to refresh my account. I was saying earlier, you guys probably couldn't hear me, but I was saying earlier, I'm also monitoring the dry line in North Texas. That would be, if I were chasing today, that's where I would be, North Texas, southern Oklahoma, watching that triple point in that region. I'm going to pull up my Twitter account here so I can show you guys what I had posted earlier in regards to the triple point in southern Oklahoma, northern Texas. Let me switch you guys over there because I don't want to sleep too much on storms happening in central Oklahoma and then all of a sudden tornadoes start happening in Texas. So here it is. This is what I posted earlier on my Twitter. I said, ahead of the advancing cold front lies the potential for a few supercell thunderstorms containing all hazards. That's what we're monitoring now in Oklahoma. And then further south into North Texas, also southern Oklahoma, a triple point lying on the cold front and dry line poses a risk for a brief tornado or two this evening. So what I'm referring to is right here, this dry line, as you can see, and then this cold front right here intersecting each other. Okay, and then right where they intersect, you get what's called a triple point, and that's a little bit easier for storms to become more surface-based and tornadic. And you can even see on the if you can see it, I don't know if you can really see it. It's kind of shaded. But right here on the you got a little individual supercells, kind of isolated from everything else. But this is expected to be a linear event all the way up way into like Minnesota. The further north you go, the less chance there are for more serious severe weather, more flooding issues into Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana tomorrow, as well as Missouri. But little pockets of some large hail and damaging winds shouldn't be ruled out Missouri either. But the bigger threat for some severe thunderstorms lies from anywhere from right at the Kansas-Oklahoma border down through North Texas, all the way into eastern Oklahoma and maybe western Arkansas as well this evening. Let's hop back over here to Twitter. I'm going to hit refresh. We're going to kind of just zoom through here to see if we have anybody updating any pictures. Nothing yet. If you couldn't see it earlier, this was the picture of the wall cloud from Jeff. This was south of Highway 412, severe warned storm. I think this is the storm near Dover, Oklahoma, that we are seeing that little bit of a couplet starting to happen. I think that's what he's reporting there. Zip back over to radar real quick. Getting courtesy of Radar Omega. Still got that severe thunderstorm there. We do have another one here on the board. Let's see where it is. That's up in Kansas. I'm not really tracking the storms in Kansas, but we'll touch on them here in a second. Reason why I'm not tracking storms in Kansas as much because the threat isn't as strong for large hail up there. Also, less population. But if you live in Kansas and you want me to touch on Kansas, I'll touch on Kansas a little bit. Oh, come on. I'm in that red box. Sorry. Yeah. Mainly, just kind of keep an eye on the weather. I'd be more concerned for large hail going into the overnight hours. If you have a garage, try to park your car in it. If not, if like me, if you don't have a garage, I just kind of hope that my car doesn't get destroyed. Still monitoring a severe thunderstorm warning here in Oklahoma. Let me try to change some things here. But you got this severe thunderstorm warning happening right now. This expires in 18 minutes. Still reporting 1-inch size hail. Let's flip over to velocity and see if we can't see. So that rotation that was near Dover no longer exists. We'll want to start watching tail and Charlie storms now, kind of down in this area. I want to monitor that. I also want to monitor this right here, east of Kingfisher, right along Highway 33. I want to watch that as well. I don't want to sleep on that. Reason being is because I always love the very southern edge or southern end of storms. Here's a radar update. Still nothing scary. Want to monitor that. Still right on Highway 33, approaching the Twin Lakes, Oklahoma region. And then I want to keep an eye on this down here as well. Excuse me. Back to reflectivity, you see a little bit of a notch happening right there where some of that inflow might be feeding into the storm. Want to monitor that for a little bit. Definitely some bigger size hail coming down there as well. We also don't want to sleep on the I-35 corridor. Right here is I-35. And now east of I-35, approaching the Stillwater area. We want to watch these line of storms as well. They could be damaging wind producers as well as maybe a brief tornado or two tucked into there. Let me break and go to the Storm Prediction Center. Make sure I'm not missing anything, any updates there. They did highlight southern Iowa as well as the potential for some damaging wind gusts, but they are not warranting a severe thunderstorm watch for that. So this is severe thunderstorm watch number 547. Actually, I'll show you guys exactly what I'm showing you, or exactly what I'm reading, so you're not confused. So this is the severe thunderstorm watch currently out. This includes a weird portion of Kansas, just a little notch there in Kansas, and then most of central to eastern Oklahoma, and then a little tiny portion of North Texas there. Still would eyeball mainly this region right here for tornadoes. Anything south of OKC, I would not be shocked to see maybe if that threat continues east to see maybe a severe thunderstorm watch issued for North Texas, maybe to include Dallas. Wouldn't shock me, but I don't see it happening in the next couple of hours. Let's hop back over to radar so that I can show you guys the radar for a little bit, and then I will hop to Twitter real quick. I guess I just mirrored the view. I didn't really keep it on radar. Here we go. All right, let's refresh Twitter. See if we're getting reports. If you guys see anything that maybe I don't, the volume is gone again. I can hear myself on my YouTube, so I don't know why you guys can hear me, but I can hear myself if I pull up my YouTube. So let's go to Twitter here. If you guys are still having audio issues, let me know. But I can hear myself just fine on my YouTube. Let's pull up some hail swaths. This will be the first time I've actually used this before. So let me, first off, I should probably figure out how to use it. I'm not an alpha user. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can. I'm not an alpha. I'm only a beta, I think. Oh, well, let me look at satellite. Oh, it will. That does not look like satellite. Can you guys hear me at all? Oh, okay. Okay. You're scaring me, Blaze. I thought my audio was messing up for y'all. As I say, I can hear myself, but all right, let's go back to radar. Oh, wait, there it is. I found it. I'm playing around. I shouldn't probably be playing around with this right now. I can actually look at current hail swaths, and then I can look at 30-minute hail swaths, and then I can also look at 30-minute rotation. Wow, this is kind of cool. So what 30-minute rotation is, what you're looking at is it's showing the areas of rotation in the storm in the last 30 minutes. A lot of times, so supercells always rotate. That's what, that's just the thing. Supercells are rotating storms. So this doesn't necessarily mean that tornadoes could have popped out anywhere in here. These are all rotating updrafts producing large hail. These little yellow areas, you got maybe some stronger hail in these dark gray areas as well. That right there was that couplet was earlier. Just kind of want to watch that as well. Let's see what else I can pull up here. I don't know. It's a weird looking reflectivity. Right here is the last, well, that's 6 hours. Here's the last 30 minutes of hail. Dover, you got it pretty good there. It looks like the storm kind of popped right up on you. Southeast Kingfisher, that big hail, and then Red Rock with some big hail in the last 30 minutes. But kind of a cool little tool that you can use on Radar Mega, kind of show you the kind of like the different amount of rotation in the last few radar scans and things like that. Kind of cool. All right, back to radar. Storms are still looking pretty aggressive here, approaching Crescent, Cedar Valley, Guthrie. Sorry, I keep saying Guthrie. Why do I keep doing that? And then eventually Stillwater as well. Let's see if there's any enhancement in the rotation. Remember when I said watching tail end Charlie and how I was watching this end right here? That is why. So a few minutes ago, I was talking about watching that southern end at the north of whatever county this is, and kind of monitoring those trends, because that's where a tornado is really going to start producing if it does. And you can now see it's starting the tightening of the rotation. Some very weak rotation happening up here north of Highway 38, I believe that is. Other than that, these storms aren't really rotating, but that right here is what I would monitor, or I will monitor over the next few radar scans to make sure we don't have something happening there. Right on what's called tail end Charlie, right on the southern end of this long line of storms is where you want to monitor. Well, now that the radar update, let's pull velocity again to see if any changes will be made here. While we wait for that, you guys watch that for a second. I'm going to go back and see if maybe I can get lucky and someone's updated. Some people talking about targeting southern Oklahoma and northern Texas for the tornado threat. Again, that's exactly where I would be. I'd play that triple point all day long. Kind of what I said in my tweet earlier. I would definitely be monitoring those trends down south more than central Oklahoma. So there is a photo on Twitter that I will show you guys. It's just kind of showing the storm, I guess. There's not much going on here. This is Sean Ramsey at Sean Ramsey Photo on Twitter. Severe storm currently approaching Cashian, Oklahoma. You can see the kind of looks like it wants to develop a shelf cloud here. Maybe some rising scud here up underneath. But not much happening. I don't know what that is over there. I'm assuming that's just scud as well, because he didn't really highlight that area. So not much happening. It's a pretty boring looking storm. Probably producing some pretty big time hail tucked into that. I'm getting hungry. I need to eat something. So that's that storm. So with that next radar update, you're not seeing, it's a little tight, but it's not quite tight. Let's zoom in a little bit more on that, see exactly where it is. So you can see this tightening rotation happening right here, south of, looks like E870, just north of Waterloo Road. This is one of the cool features of Radar Scope. You can zoom all the way in and get so close to the storm. See, I'm always zoomed in here. Right here's where that rotation would be. Still pretty broad between North 290 Road and North 920 Road. Oh, I guess that's 2900. Sorry, North 2900 and North 2920 Road. So within that 0.2 of a mile region is where you got that that rotation happening in that storm. Maybe that's a mile. I think that's 0.2 of a mile, but about a mile separates where that rotation is there in central Oklahoma. Now that I love that. I love how I can zoom all the way in and give you guys like an up close view of the storm. I really do like how Radar Omega does that. So we'll keep that. That's south of Reading, Oklahoma. We'll keep an eye on that. Let me check and see if the Storm Prediction Center is talking about North Texas or southern Oklahoma yet. No words being talked about it yet. There's a lot of rain still happening there. We'll see once that rain passes, maybe something will start popping up here in the region. Okay, this is a good photo here. This is kind of a photogenic storm. I like this photo. We'll go back to Twitter real quick. So this is courtesy of Mac Dillard at F5 Video. He works for KFOR Channel 4 out of OKC. Tracking storms or tracking severe thunderstorms just northwest of OKC. Lightning, gusty winds, heavy rain, hail possible. Cold front starting to undercut storms along US 81. Okay, so I'm glad he said that. So you see that pretty nice developing shelf cloud now ahead of that storm. So he says cold front starting to undercut storms along US 81. So what that means is that cold front's becoming a little bit too powerful for these storms, and it's actually, they're becoming what's called outflow dominant, more or less. So the likelihood of a tornado appearing anywhere in these storms is low at this point. These are going to be it's now switching over to more of a damaging wind threat as that cold front advances to the east. Likely won't see any severe or any significant storm. Now you'll still get probably some pretty large hail out of this. You don't want to sleep on that large hail because sometimes large hail, I mean, that'll do it. So anywhere in these storms, they actually updated the severe thunderstorm warning now here. But anywhere in these storms, you're probably not going to get a lot of tornadic rotation out of it. You're probably going to still get some rotation, but it's not going to be like, oh my goodness, tornado producing rotation. I would still monitor the tail end Charlie of this storm only because it's a placement. But if these are elevated, they're probably not going to do anything. As you can see the rotation here starting to come together. Let's zoom in on that. Pretty much running parallel right now with East 870, where you get that a little bit of a tightening couplet south of Reading, Oklahoma. Kind of want to watch that for a little bit. Let me see. Put this back on reflectivity. We're going to kind of monitor trends there. I want to see where I forget where he took that photo at. He doesn't say. But definitely a good looking structures from there. That'd be something I would definitely take a picture of and print out. Laura Thompson's got a really good photo as well of just like the greenish color of the storm. That's a good photo. I'm not going to publicize that photo. That's a good photo. I'll let her do all that. We got to refresh here. Let's see. Yeah. So nothing out of control right now. That would be severely concerning. So with that being said, I'm going to take one last. I still want to see what this storm does here near Reading. I feel like that is moving a lot right here. Assuming it's close to Doppler radar, which is right here. I mean, I can just zoom out a little bit and you can see Doppler. So it's not like the radar is shooting it very high. So I would just assume that this is a pretty well surface-based storm, but it might be just elevated rotation. You're getting storms rotating way up in the atmosphere, and that's what's producing the big hail as well. That would just be my assumption at this point, because that's pretty good rotation right on the tail end of those storms. But if you have any questions, ask me now. Because likely what will happen is I'm going to break away, go eat some dinner, and relax a little bit, wait for that more, maybe the potential for more tornadoes, maybe in southern Oklahoma later on. If I were a betting man, I would say probably, I don't like that radar, right? Let's do this one. Probably somewhere right in this region, you'll start to see storms kind of fire up later on this evening, probably right at sundown, if not a little bit after. And those, in my opinion, with that triple front, because you got the cold front probably running about right here, and then you got the dry line that kind of comes down like this. So this right here is your triple point, right yonder, and then you have those storms right in that triple point region that are going to start firing up, and those could produce your more significant storms. It's supposed to be question marks, but they're not very good. So we'll kind of monitor that area south of Lawton, Wichita Falls region for that later. But for now, guys, I'm going to log off. I'm going to come back later if things kind of get out of control. But I wanted to give you guys kind of an update on what's expected today across the region, as well as Oklahoma. Oklahoma City Metro is also under the gun for maybe some storms later on this evening. But until then, guys, I'll see you soon.